Okay, you guys, I want you to just look right here. I want you guys just to take a minute and look at this horse. Notice how for the most part, he's pretty much just right here ready for me to ask him to do something. Right here, he's got a little bit sidetracked out there. He came back, so see right here, he's just in neutral. He's not getting his head way over here, looking at our camera guy there filming, now that I say that. So what I'm gonna do here is there. I'm gonna bring it back to me. It didn't take much. I just shook this far foot and wiggled this far rein a little bit and put a little light. Now right here, other foot, there, did you see that ear come back to me? Now let's just give him a chance here again. I like how he is right here. Now right here, little foot, little rein. See how I brought that head right back to me? Okay, little foot, little rein. See that ear twitch back towards the side a little bit? Now, this seems like something insignificant. Get that attention back there. But what you're setting up here for long term, you're getting this horse in a habit of staying with you mentally and not getting distracted by outside things. Right here, there, and get it back. Pat him right there. So I want to explain to you guys what I'm doing. It's just as simple as giving a little life to one side or the other to draw your horse's attention back. Right here, I'm going to put a little bit of life on his right side. I'm just going to wiggle my right foot a little bit and work this right rein a little bit. I haven't done it yet. He just looked over there by himself. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You see that ear come back right there, that far ear? Now look at this. Now let's watch this front left ear for a minute. There went my attention. The next time this ear goes forward, I'm gonna see if I can just bring it back to me. Right here, it's forward. There, did you see it come back just a little bit? There, see it? Did you see it roll back just a little bit? And then he brought his attention over here. So that's kind of the start of it, and you'll kind of keep that in mind as you're riding your horse along. All right, so I want to leave straight and get these hands wide, and I'm gonna really focus on keeping this horse's attention right where he's going. Okay, now if I want to come hard left, well then I'm gonna ask his attention to come hard left. See how I bent his head a little bit there? So I asked his attention to come, and then I asked his feet to come. Okay, now right here, I'm gonna ask him to come a little kind of a hard turn to the right. So I'm gonna let his attention come over here to the right. Try to keep that attention and that face tip to the inside a little bit. Now I'm gonna put it straight back out again. I expect this horse to completely ignore these other horses in this pen. If he just kind of picked his head up and just looked over there at him and set his gaze upon him, you would see me firm up a pretty good bit and kind of bump this horse's face back to center. Now, if I directed his attention towards those other horses, that would be one thing, but if he just took it from me, that would be entirely another thing. See, I just want you guys to notice here how particular I'm being about this. The best horseman I've ever known, in my opinion, Ray Hunt, would say that if the rider isn't particular, the horse can't be particular. The only thing that's so nice about a horse is, after a while, they start to fill in for you a little bit, and you stop having to be so particular all the time. You start to be able to just reach for them, and they're right there for you, whether it's stop or back up or turn or walk in a straight line or keep your attention focused on a certain point. They get to where they can feel what you're wanting, and they start to do more and more, and ideally you try to do less and less. Okay, therefore your horse starts to almost train himself in a way. You just try to stay out of his way when that time presents itself. Okay, so as I've been walking around here running my mouth, I just want you guys to notice that there's been very few times where I've had to do much of anything to keep this horse's attention right here on what we're doing. Notice this horse really isn't looking around everywhere. He's not looking at the barn. He's not looking at the cameraman. He's kind of just right here in neutral, trying to be attentive to what I'm asking those feet to do, okay? Now bring this life down. Okay. Now if I kill the life in my body, I expect him to stand here. If he goes to move a foot, well, I'll just do something to make that a little bit difficult for him, and then then I'll give him a chance to stand again, and I'll do everything I can to make it feel really good for him to do that. Just like this attention deal. Right here, when they take their attention off, you just make it a little difficult for them, and you make it easy for them to be right here in the middle and not looking around everywhere and thinking about all these outside things. This is another great benefit of riding your horse outside more than you ride him in a pen. In a pen, it's the same thing every day. And if you can't get a horse to not be looking around in a pen, then you really need to work on it a lot. But if you can ride outside and go all over the place and have a horse's attention stay right there with you, well then when you get in a pen and go to perform whatever your event might be, you're going to notice a difference. Once again, I just want you guys to see how I'm going to set up my body and my reins and my legs to help this horse come out a winner. All right? Probably the most important thing on working on this is wide set hands. Therefore, if he go right there as he started to tip to the right a little, I could be really direct right here and catch him and bring him back. Bring him right back to middle, okay? Now notice there's a little float in these reins. I'm not choked up holding him. If I started to pick up here, what I would expect is for him to back up, see? I'm not holding back on him. You can notice there's about 1 inch of play in my reins there, all right? But what I am gonna do is I'm riding around, I'm just gonna focus, straight line, don't look around. Okay, right there, he started to tip to the left just a little bit with his attention. So what did I do? I got this right rein and I bumped his face kind of back to the middle and brought his attention right back to the center, okay? Right here, I'll bump that to the left. Now I'll keep it straight out again. Notice how wide my hands are, and I'm exaggerating this a little bit, but on some horses, this is the best place to start, as wide as you can get them. I really like that, how he just kind of broke at his pole right there. I wasn't really asking him to do that, but he just kind of experimented and said, hey, I wonder if it would feel good to me to do that. And of course, I told him yes. I just kind of opened up with my reins a little bit when he did that. But I want you guys just to look at how particular I'm being here. I want him to go around here and only put his face where I point it. And if I straighten it back out and try to ride a straight line, I expect his face to stay that way. Now I really liked right there, even walking right up on those other horses, he never really looked at him. Now see, this horse, it's not that he's not aware of his surroundings. He knows that there's horses over there. But what we've got going here is he's just a little more in tune with me, to where it's almost overriding, if you will, overriding all of his horse stuff. I should be able to ride right by these horses and not have to do a whole lot to keep his head in the middle. That's what I liked. This horse rode by those horses as if they were not even there. That's the kind of things you look for. It's these small changes, and then the horse starts to live being this way. Well, then it becomes a habit. So you can have a horse in the habit of paying attention to you, or you can have the horse in a habit of ignoring you, okay? This is one of those deals, guys, just like everything else that I'm really all about. All of these small little things, like controlling these ears, things like that, these things that people miss that are so important to have in your horse, all right? Well, then they go on up the ladder to do these more advanced things without this basic foundation in there. For example, basic foundation would be a horse being able to trot a big old circle on a loose rein and maintain his own gait, okay? Horse needs to be able to know that. All of these basic little bitty things that most people miss will all come together at some point down the road in your horse's career to make a bunch of big things that are really good, or a bunch of big things that are not so good, and a bunch of big things that are just completely horrible, and everything in between that. But if you get all these little areas of the horse operating for you right early on from the start, well then as you start to pull all this stuff together and bring this horse together into one unit that just really works for you, you're gonna have a whole different horse. But it's the little things that make the big difference. Always remember that.